Were you afraid of heights?
No, unfortunately.
Luckily, because that would have been really difficult if one of us had been afraid of heights.
His pressure is changing fast.
And so it begins.
We actually shot a lot of the sequences for real in a hot air balloon.
I don't think
In a gas air balloon,
I think
not
I
a
probably
hot air balloon.
should have asked you whether you were scared of heights before we did the film.
For casting, special skill.
It was too late by the time we were up there.
But it's the weirdest thing going up in a gas balloon, because you're in this basket and you're on the ground, but the basket basically feels like a log basket, and then suddenly you're just 1,000 feet in the air, and it's because it's totally silent. There's no moment of kind of for the fear to kick in. Do you know what I mean?
And you go up very gradually as well.
It
So it's
feels
not like going up in an
so-
elevator or something. You slowly ascend.
It's so ostensibly sort of safe until
It's not.
I believe there are answers in the sky. Up there is where I have found the greatest happiness.
we went about 8,000 feet.
Yeah, we went to Germany before the shoot and went and did a sort of test training, and we went 8,000. Is that when we went up?
Yeah.
Ah,
And they
so very impressive.
we were with a very nice pilot called Benny, and he showed us some moderate extremes of how fast you could go up, how fast you could come down. Feels like being on a roller coaster, and that's nothing compared to what actually happens in the film either.
The gas release valve is frozen.
We did one sequence in a cold box for a few days, and we're putting our hands in ice cold water before scenes and things like that. So I think for endurance, it was nothing like I've ever done before.
We were literally in a basket for 3 months, and there'd be points where it takes quite a while to get the basket up and down. So Felicity and I would be sitting there doing our own like makeup checks and just chewing the fat, and that was wonderful. It just meant that we could push each other and challenge each other because we had complete trust.
By looking at the various flights that some of these early aeronauts took, there are so many remarkable things that happened, and all of the action beats that happened with the film actually happened on various flights in different ways, and they are so extraordinary and so compelling. You can't get anything more suspenseful than literally suspended 37,000 feet up in the air where you could die at any moment.
Yeah, I was just consistently surprised by the script. I kept thinking it was going one way, and it kept sort of punching me in another direction. And I loved what Tom and Jack did with that. It was like they took your expectations and they kept sort of knocking them around right to the end. The climax of the movie, when I read it, felt so visually outside of anything I'd ever imagined that I instantly felt to see that realised on a big screen would be an extraordinary thing.
I think it was the combination of having fantastic action sequences and telling a story on a huge scale, and then having these very intimate scenes and a very sort of moving story about two people within such a huge, fantastical context.